Hey guys, so I don't know, you probably just missed it, but a plane was just taking off. Cause yeah, hold on, I'm trying to plug my phone in here so it can hopefully charge. Oh, where is that? There we go, I think. Okay, yeah, I just got out of the gym. It's about 6 a.m. And yeah, this gym is by the airport. It's my favorite location that I go to. So I just heard a plane taking off there. I was like, ooh, I just got in my car and I heard it taking off. I was like, ooh, I gotta start this video before the sound, fades into the background. But I think you guys might have just missed it. But anyways, so yeah, I just wrapped up at the gym. It's funny, this is typically the time, it's 6 a.m. This is typically the time that I tend to start to get tired and ready to go to bed and sleep the day away. Not on purpose, not by choice whatsoever. That's just my brain does not like that. It's not the way I want it to be. It's just my brain rebels, but that's what my body insists lately. And for a while now, that's how it's been. I've talked about this quite a few times already on here, but yeah. But yeah, I did not go to the club yesterday. I did get a little bit of sleep during the day, and then I woke up with about oh, another plane. You guys can hear the other plane taking off now. Because it's gonna be a busy morning for them. Crap. So yeah, I had about an hour of daylight left after I woke up yesterday. Well, not after I woke up, after I finished finally getting ready. Because for me, getting ready to get, it's like I gotta get all my stuff shoved into the fridge. That's turned off, by the way, just like me. And then lock up my fridge, try to lock up a lot of my belongings in the refrigerator with the thing all around it, because, I've also mentioned before that stuff goes missing a lot of times. That's, it is what it is, I guess. But I try to do what I can to, but then it is pretty stupid because I would say probably 98 to 99% of the stuff in my apartment is obviously not able to fit in the fridge like that. So, and yeah, a lot of times I worry I'll probably be, living out of my car in the future anyways, so what's gonna happen to most of that stuff anyway at some point, but I mean, you could look at that a lot of ways. I mean, everything's temporary, right? Just about. Oh my gosh, another one already. Wow. Yeah, it's sorry, I want to try to keep this on a positive note. I should probably start my car so my phone can charge too. All right, let's see. Okay, so hopefully we're charging. I really should have done that before I started this, but I guess for now I'll just try to assume that the phone's charging. Yeah, I actually cut my workout a little bit short specifically so I could come out here for this lighting, because the sun had just started to come up, and like outside had that nice kind of like bluish tint to it. I don't know if you guys know what I mean, but it's like that really nice color blue right before this kind of lighting. And yeah, I guess I'm really starting to get into the whole YouTube thing lately, because despite what happened last night, which maybe I'll get into that later, but yeah, because I'm thinking a lot lately like about lighting and like when and where I want to film and that sort of thing. So so yeah, maybe I don't like this lighting after all. Oh man. So yeah, last night I uploaded 4 videos originally, but 2 of them were removed, and I gotta say, it really, obviously it bums me out for obvious reasons, like, just because why wouldn't it? But like out of the ones to be removed, it does really suck, because I actually kind of liked the way that I looked in those videos. And yes, I will admit I can be vain, you know, very much so. I try not to be, but you know, like it's, I think, human nature a lot of times. You know, and like a lot of the videos that I've uploaded on here, I really hate the way that I look. Like I think I look like utter crap, because I do, basically. But every now and then in some of the videos, I kind of like the way, like, not, well, yeah, I mean, I kind of like the way that I look, or I think I look better than I do in the other ones. And the ones that were removed, the 2 that were removed last night, that's how I felt about them. And not only that, but I did watch most of those ones back before I went into the gym, I think it was, and last night before I posted them. And I thought they had some cute, like, kind of funny content, you know, and you can't always recreate that, like, spontaneous, spur of the moment, just like how you naturally will say things. And it's funnier, it's more natural that way when things just kind of come out how they do on their own. So it's like, I want to try to mention some of those things that I think were in those videos. But then again, it's like, it's just never the same sometimes. You can't always get it exactly how it was that first time, or that time that it just naturally happens. So, you know, but hey. I actually, one thing I did want to mention in this video, if anyone wants to comment, it looks like I have been getting some comments on my videos lately. I haven't really had time to go through most of those yet, but on this one, on this video in particular, I'm very much hoping to get some comments from you guys. If anyone might happen to know or have any idea, like an opinion about whether or not I should attempt to re-upload those 2 other videos that were removed last night. Like, I don't know if anyone would know this or have an idea or an opinion about it, but you know, because I'm trying to do a disclaimer, I guess, like, I did one on the follow-up video that I posted last night. I wrote a really long disclaimer for it and put that in the description. So I figure maybe if I try to re-upload those other 2, I could add that same kind of disclaimer, and also put in the title, like, please read disclaimer, like. But I already put a trigger warning that a lot of my videos will probably feature, like, sensitive subjects and talk about sensitive subjects like weight and body image and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm really nervous about, like, what I can and can't say now, because I kind of already was to begin with, but now it's like especially so, because a big part of my channel and what I would normally and typically want to talk about, that's like such a big part of my life and stuff that I struggle with, is, you know, like stuff like weight and body image, and how that ties into like me being a stripper and in the sex industry, and, you know, pretty much always having to have my body on display with that, and, you know, how I feel that feeds into my struggles with that kind of stuff. So in a lot of my videos that I've done so far, and a lot of the ones that I would want to try to do in the future, that would be such a big subject for me, you know, is stuff like that. But now it's like, for me to just kind of try to tiptoe around that subject or omit it completely, it's like, how am I going to do that, you know? Because that's just such a huge part of who I am and what I struggle with, unfortunately. I certainly don't want it to be like that. But also, like, I'm the kind of person where, like, I really, like, I try to see the upside, and I feel like one of the upsides of that is at least it's not boring, at least to me. Like, I like stuff that kind of does push the envelope a bit, and, you know, like, stuff that might not be allowed, or that might kind of be on the edge of stuff, like, that just makes it more interesting to me, because, I mean, typically stuff like that is more interesting, right? I mean, like, sexual stuff, and like, yeah, stuff about like food and weight and like people's problems, things that people struggle with, like, I don't know, I just, stuff you're not supposed to do, like, I've just always been that kind of person. I feel like a lot of people are like that. Like, it just, that stuff is just more fun and interesting. Otherwise, like, I don't know. I'm gonna try to do the best that I can, obviously, like, try to keep it PG-13, so to speak. I don't know. I have some little notes here, stuff that I did want to mention though. Yeah, I was really wondering like why those specific videos, just those two so far, got removed. And I did try to watch them back, most of them, as much as I could at the gym. You know, it's hard for me to do that. It's hard for me to make the time. It's hard enough for me to make the time just to film them in the first place, but then to also have to go back and like, you know, and then to go back a second time and like a third time to like, what is it that's like so that, you know, that specifically got those removed. And the only thing I can really think is I mentioned calories, I think, more in those videos. Like now I'm like, should I even not say that word? Like, is calories like a bad word? Like this isn't like a huge part of like life in society or something. Like people don't think or talk about calories. Calories kind of matter, but I guess I'll just try not to say that word ever again. But I did talk more about that kind of stuff, I guess. I don't know, because I wanted, they were, you know, like videos like me before and after the gym, I think, and I was mentioning how I was so excited to get my yogurt after the gym. But, you know, for me, the kind of person that I am, I can never just be satisfied with like one of those tiny little rinky-dink, like 2-bite containers of it. So I was specifically going to the gym because I wanted to have a big old tub of yogurt after, and like the full sugar version. And one of the things I mentioned, I was like, you know, like that I thought was kind of funny. I was like, if you're like the kind of person that can just have one of those tiny little yogurts, like you have no soul, like great for you because you have self-control or whatever, but typically people with self-control have no soul. You're boring. I think that's how I said it. But obviously the way that I said it that first time was like better and funnier, I thought, like. But that was something I wanted to retry to mention because I just thought it was so funny, like the way that I said it the first time. It's true though, like seriously. I'm not proud of having very poor self-control. It's something I've always tried to work on and will probably always have to like keep trying to work on throughout my life. But again, one of the upsides, maybe, I try to always look for an upside. Like if you do just naturally have like complete self-control, like kudos to you, that's amazing. That's definitely a good thing. But you kind of have no soul, basically, or you're, you know, that's kind of boring, right? Like, let's be honest. I don't know. It's just, I don't want to say the wrong thing. What else do I say? Oh yeah, and it's like I want to include all the stuff I want to say in these videos, but I also don't want to say the same stuff over and over. And I'm finding that difficult. I'm like, I feel like I've already said the same things a few times and throughout my videos, but then I also, a lot of times when I go back to try to watch one, if I do get to watch the whole thing through, and it's especially if this is a video that's supposed to be about a specific subject, there's always something I forget to include. There's always something I forgot to add, even if it's very long, which they usually are. It's like I said all that stuff and I probably repeated a lot of things and I still didn't say this or that I wanted to also get in there. So that drives me nuts. And yeah, like lately I've really been getting into this, like practicing in my head, like just like saying what I want to say in my videos in my head, like a lot, like all throughout the day and night. And then obviously, yeah, like sometimes I'll try to take my little notes about it. I don't know. This is gonna get interesting. Hopefully. At least for me. Hopefully for other people too. Yeah. So one of the other subjects that I sort of started to touch on in the videos that were removed last night, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say this word. Like maybe because I figure maybe this was part of it too. It said the reason was because of stuff related to like unhealthy eating habits and stuff. Or I don't know, like I try to be pretty healthy. I don't, how else would I be able to climb a 15-foot stripper pole and go upside down and do pull tricks? You know what I mean? And in the videos that were removed, I did actually talk about that. I actually mentioned, you know, the fact that I don't have eyebrows, I don't have eyelashes, like I tried to start to talk about, like with my weight struggles, because these videos I was trying to talk about my weight struggles, which was like a specific subject that I wanted to try to focus on. And it's like, how can I do that? They were saying like it was promoting eating disorders, but it's like there's a fine line between dieting and struggles with your weight and that, you know, then going to that extreme. And it's like me talking about my struggles and like not having hair, being bald, not having eyelashes, and all the ways that it's like been detrimental to my life, how I barely even have a life, it's just an existence really, largely because of taking dieting way too far in the past. Like I'm pretty much trying to not glorify, you know, like dieting and stuff, like not taking, you know, it's like I'm certainly not trying to promote anything unhealthy. I'm trying to point out like, hey, like look at what a mess I am, and look at what a mess my so-called life and situation is like. And so much of that I know is because of prioritizing stuff that shouldn't really matter so much, like, you know, body image and dieting and stuff. But yeah, because I'm in the sex industry and my body's on display so often, it's just kind of, you know, escalated my struggles with that. But I thought in those videos I tried to kind of like mention that, you know. So, but anyways, another thing that I had started to mention, I think in those videos as well, was, so I'm not going to say the word because maybe this word was like a bad thing too, but I'll give you guys some hints. The word starts with an M and it ends with an N, as in nincompoop. Is that, anyways, I'm not gonna, is that what it is? Nincompoop. Is that the word? And if so, would that word be allowed? It starts with an M, as in as in there's a plane, as in milk, another plane, and it ends with an N, as in Nancy boy. And it's 12 letters long. Use your imaginations. But then I also started to realize there's another word that matches that same exact description. So there's two. Only one of them is the one that I'm referring to that I mentioned in the videos. That's kind of like maybe like too PG-13 or too sexual, maybe. Was that it? And then but then I was thinking and I was like, another word popped into my head that's more of like a female related thing, but it also starts with an M and ends with an N, and it's also 12 letters long. I'm pretty sure. I tried to check. I didn't spell check on Google, but I'm pretty sure they're both 12 letters. And I was like, I had never realized that before. But one thing I had realized before, or something I had realized before, I've realized more than one thing before. Something I had realized also before, I've come across, you know, the whole autistic type concept in the media a lot lately. Like when I go online on my laptop back at my apartment, you know, just when I'm effing around online or looking stuff up, I've come across autism a lot recently, like in the media, just in articles, I don't know, just out there, just I've come across it a lot throughout the past year or so. And I think it's kind of funny because the word autistic, as in autism, it starts with an A and it ends with a C. And it's so much like the word artistic, because artistic, and they're both 8 letters long. And I feel like maybe because of like how autism is described, like sensory issues and like, I don't know, just amongst a bunch of other stuff, obviously. But I feel like there's probably a good chance that autistic people also tend to oftentimes be quite artistic as well. I mean, I have heard that, and that would make sense, I think. So that I had actually thought about a while ago, somewhat recently, but you know, like back before. And then just earlier last night / this early morning, just now, basically, you know, like when I was in the gym earlier, I realized that the word that I had also mentioned in those videos that were removed last night, you know, starts with an M, ends with an N, 12 letters long. But and then another word fits that description as well. And I just got a kick out of that. Anyway. But yeah, also another reason I'm pretty upset about those videos being taken down is because some of my favorite videos that I've done so far have been driving videos. And also, especially the ones at nighttime. I'm not sure if other people would really like the ones at nighttime that much because, you know, obviously the lighting is kind of maybe more difficult to see, but I just really like them. And, you know, I think they're relaxing, and also I like how the street lights and the traffic lights and stuff in the background will change kind of color in the background scenery of the video, and oftentimes in a pretty artistic way too. Like I noticed in a lot of those videos with the nighttime driving, when I would be saying a certain thing, the lights would, like, you know, like the lights on the roads around me and stuff would kind of flash on, like the colors would flash different ways at certain times when I was saying certain things that kind of seemed to fit what I was saying in an artistic kind of way, if that makes sense. Like if I was talking about something scary or dangerous, maybe it would be like a red color light would kind of flash across like my face, or like the, you know, just like the area in the car around here. Or if I was saying something that like all of a sudden came to my mind and it was like originally dark, and then a brighter light would kind of like illuminate my face as I was like saying something that just like popped into my head, you know, like stuff like that. And it's just like one of those things where it's like life imitating art, or art imitating life, however the saying goes. But where you can't always force stuff to happen like that. You can't always like create it on your own. It's like sometimes life just kind of does that on its own, basically, or seems to. Or maybe it's just all part of the simulation we're in. I don't know. But like, it's interesting how that can really just happen on its own. And that's part of why, like, you can't always go back and try to redo a video or redo something, because you're never going to get it that same way that it originally was. Or like, good luck trying, basically. I know I couldn't. I don't think I could. There's, you know, because some stuff is just spontaneous and it's just how it happened in that one specific moment at that one specific time, you know. But I actually wanted to drive for this video because, you know, like, it's pretty much dawn. Oh, and one of those videos too, the sun was kind of going down, so I really liked the lighting in the back windows. You guys could kind of see, or you would have been able to see, like the sunset, and the sky was really pretty colors. So I was going to that was, you know, that video was taken, I don't know, maybe a couple weeks ago, and that was when the sun was setting. So I was gonna attempt to try to recreate that a little bit, just with the sun rising this time, you know, like with the colors in the sky. But I'm not sure. Honestly, I think I want to stop this one right now before it just cuts off on its own, because a lot of my videos have been doing that lately. You guys might have noticed in some of the ones that I've tried to upload and post so far, they kind of just cut off towards the end. And I think you can usually see my hands, like, that it's not me doing it. Like, you can just see they just stop sometimes, like on their own. So, well, on their own, I don't know how it's happening. But maybe, yeah, sometimes it's probably for the best, because otherwise I could just ramble on and, you know, long a lot of these would end up being. So I think what I might do right now, gosh, it's really chilly in here, wow. Yeah, I brought out, oh my gosh, just last night, I think it was last night, I brought out my, my warmer clothes, my hat, because it was getting cold. Up until that point, I was pretty much just buck-ass naked, just in my bottom garment, just in my underwear. Am I allowed to say that? In my apartment, because it was so hot for summer, and I don't have air conditioning in the summer, or I don't bother to put it in these past few years anyway. So, just until last night, I was just basically wearing underwear, and that was it, and just loving it so much. But last night I had to bring out, like the multiple layers of pants and socks and my hat to cover my head at night, and just, life is too short for censorship. Well, I don't know about too short, but it's too fleeting, and I think for a lot of people it's just winter too often and too much suffering in that department and so many others because of that and so many other things. Oh yeah, and one of those other big things being one of those 2 words that I was mentioning earlier that starts with M and ends with N and is 12 letters long. I think it's 12 letters. Definitely not one of those 2 words, because there were 2, but out of the 2, one of them definitely yes, and then the other one is supposed to help with that, but anyways. I really hope if I upload this video it gets to stay on, because this one I think has turned out kind of fun so far. It's about half an hour, so I think about 20-minute, half-hour videos seem to be pretty good for me. Anything longer than that, and it's just like, oh my gosh, what? Because I can't watch them back. You know what I mean? That's like too much to watch back for me. Even the 20 minutes and 30 minutes, like, damn. Like, they just... So, okay, I should probably wrap this up now, but I think what I might do is, after I wrap this up, try to do another one while I'm driving back, because I really like doing videos while I'm driving. And we'll see how the sky looks in the background. I'm not sure if you guys are still gonna get to see. I think it would be better with the sun setting compared to, like at dusk rather than dawn. But hey, I'm gonna try to keep that in mind for the future. I'm really gonna try to make the most of, all the rest of the snowless, winterless weather that I'm hopefully going to be able to have left for this year until that's not the case, until it starts getting dark at like 4 p.m, which that's just going to be impossible. But I guess one of the upsides about the winter, you guys might get to see me wear my earmuffs in some of my videos if I ever get that far with things. If I'm still attempting to do this kind of stuff on here when that rolls around. Oh gosh, but hey, it's still August right now. We still got some of August left, and my younger brother is going to be visiting at the end of this month, actually, with his new girlfriend. So that's gonna be on a Saturday too. And it's funny because a lot of times I've been trying to do videos on Saturdays, pretty much whenever I can, basically, and when I can find good lighting and just, inspiration here or there. But Saturdays in particular, because it was Saturday that I filmed my first one. So I'm not sure how they would feel about that. I actually haven't mentioned this to him or to them yet, but who knows, if they're cool with it, maybe we could try to film a quick little something to commemorate that visit. I think we might go to the beach. He mentioned going out to eat, which I never do, and I really don't want to do. But again, I don't want to start talking about that because apparently that's not allowed. Struggle with stuff like that. When you struggle with stuff like that, talking about struggling with something is considered how can you call it promoting something if you're struggling with it? Why would you want to promote something you struggle with? Struggling with something usually means you're not going to be a big fan of it. Or, you know what I mean? It's If I really, really struggle with something, that typically would mean I really, really hate that thing. So logistically, I would not, talking about it, I would not consider that to be glorifying or promoting that thing. Like, that to me would be talking about how much I hate that thing, and because I struggle with it so much. Like, but anyway, I probably should wrap this up for now. It's literally 30 minutes. Okay, so I'm gonna wrap this one up, and I think I'm gonna start to head back to my apartment and hopefully try to film another quick little driving video on the way back there. So I think that's all for this one for now, and thanks to anybody that might ever get to see this and watch, and peace out for now.